Welcome to this comprehensive HandiWorks tutorial, where I'll be demonstrating 50 essential hand embroidery stitches. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand your skills, this all-in-one tutorial will guide you through a variety of stitches, from basic to advanced. Running stitch, the most basic stitch used for outlining and adding texture. Simply weave the needle in and out of the fabric in a straight line. Back stitch, perfect for outlines and fine details. Create a line by bringing the needle up and back into the previous stitch hole. Split stitch, used for outlines and filling. Create a back stitch and bring the needle up through the center of the previous stitch. Chain stitch, great for outlines and decorative lines. Make a loop and secure it with a small stitch. Couching stitch secures thicker threads. Lay a thread on the fabric and tack it down with small stitches. Stem stitch, commonly used for stems and outlines. Make small diagonal stitches that overlap slightly. French knot adds texture and detail. Wrap the thread around the needle and insert it back into the fabric close to the starting point. Cross stitch, popular for patterns and designs. Make X-shaped stitches on a grid. Double cross stitch adds complexity to cross stitch. Make a cross stitch and add another cross over it. Fishbone stitch, ideal for leaves. Make overlapping diagonal stitches to form a fishbone pattern. Lazy daisy stitch, ideal for petals and leaves. Form a loop and tack it down with a small straight stitch. Satin stitch, perfect for filling shapes. Make parallel stitches closely together to fill the area. Fly stitch, adds texture and can be used for leaves. Make a V-shaped stitch with a small stitch at the top to hold it in place. Bullion knot, used for decorative details. Wrap the thread around the needle multiple times before inserting it back into the fabric. Pekinese Stitch combines backstitch and loops for a braided effect. Backstitch a line, then weave the thread through the stitches. Herringbone Stitch, great for borders and filling. Make crisscrossing stitches to create a herringbone pattern. Whipped backstitch adds texture to backstitch. Whip the thread around each backstitch without piercing the fabric. Cretan Stitch, used for filling and borders. Make alternating stitches at an angle, creating a zigzag pattern. Heavy chain stitch. As the name suggests, this is a heavy or thick-looking chain stitch. It gives out a rich feeling depending on the thread used to stitch. Blanket stitch, great for edging, similar to buttonhole stitch, but spaced farther apart. Woven wheel stitch creates a raised circular shape. Weave the thread over and under foundation stitches. Feather stitch. Decorative and great for borders. Make a series of V-shaped stitches along a line. Spiderweb stitch. Forms a raised circle. Make radial stitches and weave the thread around them in a spiral. Hungarian braided chain stitch. Decorative and textured. Make chain stitches with a braided effect. Long and short stitch, perfect for shading. Alternate long and short stitches to create a smooth gradient. Sheaf stitch, decorative stitch. Make 3 parallel stitches and tie them together in the middle. Knotted stem stitch. Adds texture to stem stitch. Make a stem stitch and add knots along the line. Chevron stitch. Great for borders. Make a series of V-shaped stitches along a line. Woven Picot stitch. Creates 3 deep petals. Make a foundation stitch and weave the thread over it. Sorbello stitch. Form small squares, make a cross stitch and wrap the thread around the intersection. Cable chain stitch adds texture. Make a chain stitch and twist the thread around it. Palestrina knot adds texture. Make a knot by looping the thread and pulling it through. Cast on stitch. This stitch creates raised, textured loops by wrapping the thread around the needle multiple times before pulling it through the fabric. It's perfect for creating floral elements and textured lines. Knotted loop stitch adds texture. Make a loop and tie a knot at the top. Rosette chain stitch, decorative and textured. Make a chain stitch and loop the thread around it. Drizzle stitch adds height and texture. Make a long loop and anchor it with a knot. Twisted chain stitch, a variation of the chain stitch where each loop is twisted before securing it to the fabric, giving a decorative rope-like appearance, ideal for borders and decorative lines. Basque stitch, similar to a chain stitch but with a twist. Make a loop and secure it with a small stitch, then continue in a chain-like fashion with twisted loops. Dyke Stitch. A decorative stitch used for borders and filling. Make parallel vertical stitches and weave the thread horizontally through them. Shell stitch, great for borders, may make a series of overlapping scallops. Bonnet stitch, similar to the detached chain stitch but with a small loop at the top of each stitch. It creates a delicate scalloped edge, often used for floral designs and borders. Scroll stitch, a decorative stitch that forms a spiral or scroll-like pattern. It's created by making a series of short stitches that loop around each other, perfect for filling areas and adding texture. Braid or cable plait stitch, a complex stitch that resembles a braided or plaited pattern. It involves interweaving threads to create a textured, decorative line, great for borders and accents. Cross buttonhole stitch combines the buttonhole stitch with a cross stitch pattern. The result is a decorative and textured border, excellent for edges and frames. Knotted diamond stitch. This stitch creates a diamond shape with a small knot in the center. It's perfect for adding intricate geometric patterns to your embroidery. Mountmellick Stitch, a raised, textured stitch used for creating bold lines and patterns. Named after the Mountmellick embroidery style, it's ideal for whitework and textured designs. Basket Stitch creates a woven basket-like pattern by interlacing threads over a grid of straight stitches. It's great for filling areas with a textured woven look. Double chain stitch. This is a variation of chain stitch where each chain is pulled into alternating triangles, forming a wide line. Ladder stitch forms a ladder-like pattern with parallel lines connected by horizontal bars. It's useful for filling areas and creating textured borders. Crested chain stitch, a variation of the chain stitch with an added loop at the top of each chain. It forms a decorative crested line, perfect for borders and embellishments. Thank you for joining us in this comprehensive tutorial on 50 hand embroidery stitches. We hope you enjoyed learning and practicing each stitch along the way. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to HandiWorks for more tutorials and crafting inspiration.